Wow, that was a quite an experience trying to get this going here. How y'all doing there? All right. So, hi everybody. It's Thanasi, your Caliper King. And give me one moment. Let me get this thing popped up here. All right. I thought I was going to be able to do it from my phone, but didn't let me. So, give me 1 second. All right. And there we are, baby. Okay. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. So, yeah, I started this long journey of calipers back in pretty much 94 when my dad reopened his caliper company from a previous company called Olympus. And whatchamacallit, sorry, I am looking something up here. 1 second. How embarrassing, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Where is it at? YouTube. There it is. Okay. All right. So again, started, helping my dad in 94. And of course, it was a journey. We're family operated. And my dad just worked really hard, and I just continued doing what he was doing. My dad had a caliper company before called Olympus, and now it's my turn. And the reason I chose to the reason I chose this and decided to continue with calipers was, due to a Pep Boys ticket that was $90, and I just thought to myself, if I did 10 of these a day, I think I would have a good life. Anyhow, now behind me, I have about 3,000 caliper parts in bin boxes numbered. Let me go grab one for you. When we say we have a lot of bolts, we got a lot of bolts, baby. Everything's numbered this way in our inventory. We got thousands and thousands of these little bushings, these pin bushings. Ooh, they're coming out there. All right. And yeah, I apologize for the link not working. If you find me, I love you. I'll tell you that. So again, thanks everyone for joining me today. I'm happy to do this type of material because really it's all I know, and I'm happy to do it. I love my job. It's not really work for me. However, it could be stressful sometimes, but it's okay. But again, thanks for chiming in. But just want to let you know that in case a phone call comes in, we're going to answer that phone, and you're going to be here right with me. So, yeah, we're going to, again, before we start, again, we're going to go over today brake noises you may hear, brake pad wear, spongy pedal, electronic parking brake issues. And, yeah, but before we get into that, it's the Seahawks versus the Patriots this weekend. In the comments down below, drop who you think's going to win. My choice is the Seahawks. I love defense, and those guys are freaking animals, I'll tell you that. But they got to do it for 4 quarters. There's no 2-quarter, 3-quarter stuff. So, yeah, drop a comment down below who you think's going to win. Again, during this time, you can ask me any questions. At this point, there's nobody here, but you'll be coming. Again, I sent a link out, and for some reason, YouTube wouldn't let me. I had 52 subscribers, and I was trying to do it through my phone. However, it didn't go as planned. But that's pretty much the bottleneck of my life there. that's my life there. But anyways, let's go. And we hear brake noises. Brake noises. We got some minor squeaks, or you can hear some grinding. So minor squeaks, the pads could be worn, as you can see right here. The bearing or hub assembly might be bad. So what happens with that, if the bearing's bad, it'll cock the wheel a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and then it's scraping the ends of the pads. So that creates a minor squeak. Also, we got a glazed brake pad right there. I love how traditional I am with writing this out. But a glazed brake pad pretty much means that the brake pads weren't broken in correctly. Typically, what I do for any brake job that I do on the side for a friend or anybody, I will go from 30 to 0 about 20 times. And not to 0, you don't want to depress the brake too much because then you'll warp the rotors, but 30 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour, but you really got to hit the brake. And you want the pad to seat on the rotor. Sometimes people leave the rust inhibitor residue on there. That has to be removed with brake cleaner before you even put it on the car. So if you're just putting a rotor on top of the hub without cleaning it with brake cleaner, get yourself another job, dude. But anyway, that'll glaze your rotors if you don't break them incorrectly or you don't prep the rotors correctly. Now, another one is when you hear serious grinding. Damn, baby. If you're hearing serious grinding, then you didn't listen to the audible sensor that happened about a month ago. So there's sensors on the brake pad that tap the rotor a little bit. So as you're driving and you're braking and you depress the pedal more, it'll touch the rotor just like so, and it'll give you that little squeak. That little squeak is an indicating sign or an indicator to get your frickin' brakes checked, dude. Don't go beyond that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to run out of brake pad, and then all of a sudden, you're going to wear through the brake pad, go into the backing part of the brake pad. I'll show you what the backing part is over here in just a second. You'll go into the to the backing plate, and all of a sudden, it'll start grinding metal to metal. And sometimes people even go through that. I don't know how the hell they do that, but they do. And what happens is the caliper piston will fall out. Then you call T-Dog, the Caliper King, and you ask him to help. Well, I always ask first, like, did you hear the pedal? Did you feel the pedal? Did you notice any grinding? Well, stop jamming in your car for once in a while and start being respectful to your car. As long as you respect your car, you're going to get a lot of respect back. I guarantee it. Oil changes, little noises, you got to constantly be on that stuff. However, on to topic number 2, the brake pad wear. So my beautiful sheet right here, brake pad wear. So we have perfect wear, where you can see the red. That's the brake pad material. Now, that's the way it should always be. Because if it's not, then you're going to have a bad caliper. But I'll get a little bit further into that here. So if you see here closely, the thinner line is on this side, the brake pad material, which is considered inner pad wear. So the pistons right here, on all these photos, the pistons are on this side, and and the rotors are on this, and then the tires on this side. So now this inner pad wear can be caused by a caliper piston sticking, a brake hose collapsing, or a stuck bracket pin. Now, let me show you a sample of a stuck bracket pin. Let me grab that. How you doing, George? How you doing, baby? Now here, I got a caliper here that this bracket this is the bracket, this whole piece right here, and here's the caliper. Then there's pins here that allow the bracket to shift back and forth, back and forth. Now watch this. I am pushing against the bottom of the caliper here, trying to pull the bracket, and the damn thing is seized. So these are stuck pins here. You might as well just take this and throw it in the trash because the pins are stuck. And by the time you take those babies out, it'll take you about 4 hours. Give me 1 second. Let me show you a sample of a stuck piston. Now this is a rear Honda Civic caliper. If you can see inside here, which I don't think you can, hopefully I can have some better images. Yeah, that image sucks too. But you can see there is rust all inside there, causing the piston to stick. That's bad too. So that'll cause inner brake wear. Now, we come into the other line of a angled brake wear. The caliper bushing is bad. You'll see that the pad material is on an angle on both sides, the piston side and the tire side. Usually this side on the outside is called the outer pad. Well, there we go. We got a phone call. Let's get this one. To be continued. Just give me a second. Phoenix. To 2013 Kia Optima rear push start caliper. Okay, give me about 20 minutes. I am in the middle of a live stream on YouTube, and it's funny because I am answering right in front of this live stream. But I'll call you as soon as I get done with this. No, I got it. It's I have it here on my caller ID, Miss Perkins. Okay, I apologize, but I'll take care of it right away. All right, thank you. That's a very understanding customer, guys. That's why I love this business. And anyways, back to the angled pad wear. So bad pin, caliper pin stuck, bad lubrication. A lot of times when these alley mechanics are touching your car, they're putting the wrong crap in there. So what I advise, let me grab it. We got some silicone grease here. I can rebuild a caliper with this entire tub of grease. It needs to be silicone, high temperature. Any other type of grease may actually cause the brake, the pins to seize. And by golly, we don't need that crap. And then there's another situation in the brake pads, outer pad wear, where the outer pad has less material than the inner pad. Well, that pretty much the caliper piston is completely seized. and the bracket is doing all the work, all the back and forthness for the brakes. So that's the brake pad wear section. Now, if you can, like my little son made this for me, like and subscribe to the Caliper King. I think he did a magnificent job. What do you guys all think? Nick, what do you think? Hope you like it, bud. My phone didn't work, bud. Anyway, yeah, so do that for me. It might help some causes around my life. I'm joking. Now let's get back to it. Topic number 3. We're going to get a spongy pedal here, huh, baby? A spongy pedal. We don't want that. So here we go. Spongy pedal. Old brake fluid. So with old brake fluid, what happens is over time, brake fluid absorbs hydration or water. We can call it water. And did you know you can compress water? You can. You can compress air too. So any of those two you want out of your system, and you just want brake fluid in there. So, here, I already said it. The air in the hydraulic system will cause a spongy pedal. The master cylinder might be bad. Do you know what a master cylinder is? Well, I'll tell you right now, I got one right here. A master cylinder, when you push that pedal in, it pushes fluid through these ports. From these ports, it distributes to your car. And the thing with a master cylinder is there's about 5 or 6 seals in that baby. So over time it might get bad, but typically these are built very well. They're ready for any type of heat. And it's usually not the master, but in some cases it could be. And that's the master cylinder. Or your goddamn caliper is just leaking because you had some other rebuilder rebuild it. And you know what? That's because they used a press to put in the piston, which is a no-no for me, because every caliper piston I put in is with my own hands and my guy's own hands. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way you're going to feel a broken seal. Or you might have a strip bleeder that might be leaking. Typically for those guerrilla mechanics that want to use an impact gun on every bolt, so it alleviates them having to twist a little bit. But yeah, so also for the race car drivers, when you lose all that braking force, it's typically because you're boiling your brake fluid. Now, over time, if you keep stopping and going and stopping and going, that brake fluid's going to boil. That's why they made high-temperature brake fluid. So get with the program, get yourself some high-temperature brake fluid, flush your system out, put that in. You shouldn't have a problem. But that's what happens with some of the racer kids that think they know everything. But I love them too. Now, topic number 4. The electronic parking brake issue. Well, give me 1 second. Let me get one. Right here. You put this down, baby. Right here, we got an electronic motor that helps push this piston out. This is what it looks like without the motor on it. It's a bunch of splines in there. So there's a spline in here. It activates from your push start or parking brake button. It'll activate it, push it out. Once it feels a little tension, the baby stops. Okay? Now, some people are having stuck pistons. Well, that's because they got a good job, a good deal on a brake job. 1 second. They got a good deal on a brake job. The customer promised them about a quarter of the price of the dealer, and they went on board with that. So what happens with these type of mechanics that don't have the electronic diagnostic tools is they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Now, there's two types of electronic caliper pistons. Okay? There's type 1. Here's the piston. Here's the actuator. This actuator floats inside the piston. And then you got the actuator screw that the motor is driving. So let me thread that baby in a little bit. What happens with hurry up mechanics on this particular screw, as you can see, this thing is bent. That's because these morons were pushing it with a C-clamp. You can't do that. Use your brain. Now, this is type number 1. It's a basic screw type. Now, Ford and a lot of like Honda started this now. These manufacturers are using the same idea. However, here's the piston. Here's the piston. Then you got the screw that goes in itself. That goes inside the piston. Ring it. Now this screw, let me take the actuator out. This screw right here goes right through. It doesn't screw in. You know why? Because there's about, oh, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, shoot. Okay, here, let me get it. I'm trying to grab this puppy. There's a ball bearing in my hand. You see the ball bearing? There's about 50 to 60 of those that are supposed to run on top of this thing, on top of the threaded the threaded actuator screw. And then eventually, if you don't have all 50 to 60 ball bearings in there, or when you do, it'll start to screw in. Again, there's mechanics out there that love that C-clamp. By golly, they love it. That C-clamp has created thousands of nightmares. Thousands. And I've been a witness of that. Because we will have people bringing in their caliper with those ball bearings all over the place, which means they literally use the C-clamp thinking that's the way that the electronic system works. And no, it doesn't work like that. So after going over all these topics, next week, for sure, I want to do a bushing video to show you guys different types of bushings that go in the ears of the caliper. However, if there's any questions, if there's any questions, George, that's not a good question, George. We know it's seized by the brake pad wear, okay? When you ask me, how do you know if your caliper is seized? We know by the wear of the brake pads. All of a sudden, you got that throbbing, buddy. Once it starts throbbing, you know you have a caliper issue or something along the lines. Which brings me to this point. Thank you, George. Here we have a brake hose. Okay, look how small that orifice is, George. Now, if you put a vice grip on this, and you close it off while your caliper is being changed so you don't lose like 30 cents in brake fluid, shame on you. What happens is this collapses. You will be able to push all the brake fluid you want through there. I've heard mechanics say, oh, the line is fine. I can push the fluid through. You can, but will it go backwards? Like, will it start shifting back when you release the brake? Yeah, it's fine. But after it warms up for 15 minutes, it starts doing it again. It starts holding the piston out. That's because your line's effed up, man. So never put a vice grip on your brake hose. Always bleed your system correctly. You need two people to correctly bleed it. I don't believe in those one-person bleeding systems, which I would like to make a bleeding system one day. So if there's any questions or concerns, I got two top fans here, baby. We got George Demetrios. I don't know where you are in this country. I don't know if you're in Alaska or Honolulu, but thanks for watching. Paleo's Outdoor World. I know you're somewhere in Florida by the Everglades. So, yeah. Please feel free to ask any other questions. And thank you for watching. If you have any concerns, you could put a comment down below. I'll answer them as best as possible. On a serious note, thank you for watching this video. I want to send my thanks to my wife, who helped me with my little poster boards. My son, Dio Villen is his name. He's a little artistic freak. To all my kids that help me out and support me, I want to say thank you to my mom. She's always been there for me. She's been the heart of the business since my dad started it. So hats off to my mom. And that's it, my friends. What should I do if I need to unseize the caliper? You can bring it to me, George. You can bring it to us. We will rebuild that caliper within 1 hour. And I guarantee you we're going to have factory-like results. There's no screwing around or penny pinching around here. It's hydraulics. It's your life. So I'll stay on for a few minutes. If you have any other questions, George Demetrios. God, how is Alaska treating you out there? I hope you're enjoying Alaska. Paleos is number 2 fan. But you know what, man? You're number 1 too, Paleo, in my book. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed my little funny live stream. And I will try to get on to the cell phone. I'd rather have it on my cell phone. I'm using a webcam. And it was only $35, baby. So I took advantage of it, thought it was cooler. And then my one friend, requested for me to do it 9x16. Yeah, he told me that today. A little late, but it's okay. He's always there for input. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Thanasi, the Caliper King, and you know what I'm about to say. Break on.